Hello, I'm David Kain. I'm the president of Kain Automotive, and with me today is someone I'm really excited for you all to meet. Her name is Lyamen Savy, and she's the CEO of 321 Ignition, and they build automotive websites. And it's not often that I get excited when I see a new website product. And we all hear those pitches. This is something that is unique and new, but I really believe you're going to agree with me after you see their product. And with that, I'd like Lyman, if you wouldn't mind, just introduce yourself to the audience and tell us about your background.
Yes, thank you for the introduction. So my background is I worked at Microsoft, I worked at Capital One, I worked at a DataSphere which got acquired by Sinclair Broadcast. And so I have a lot of experience working in a tech industry or working for software companies. And so this is actually my first time entering into the automotive space, and I'm bringing fresh new ideas that I've noticed that by accident I stumbled upon that automotive was missing. And so we've built a great user experience of how consumers like to shop when they're searching for a house or how they're searching for other things and how it's relevant for automotive industry.
Well, and it's interesting, you and I shared in an earlier conversation that your experience in the acquisition by Zillow with one of the companies, that really taught you something that I know people are out of curiosity looking at homes that are $300, $500, $1 million, and they'll go online and really start to build a relationship with the home. And something that struck me as I started looking through your platform is you all helped me build a relationship with the car. And we talk about that with our training is it's hard to sell something that you don't love. And what I'd like to understand, if you could, is why did you look at automotive? Was it a firsthand experience? Did you go to websites and say, oh, these are terrible? Did you read some book? Was it an epiphany overnight? What caused this?
Yeah, so what happened was a pure accident. I had a best friend who was in automotive. She's been in automotive since she was 17 years old. And at that time I worked in Microsoft, and her and I would after work go for little power walks in downtown Kirkland, and we'll just talk about our days and what's going on. And so she got promoted to become a COO of the dealership. And so she would ask me, hey, Lyman, can you come by, just take a look at my marketing stuff, because I've been doing marketing for 18 years. And she's like, I really love your input on it. And at that time she was working with another agency, was managing all of her paid media and stuff like that. So one Saturday I came over to her dealership and I spent about 4 to 5 hours, and I just started looking through her paid media channels, her analytics. And first I uncovered that was a total mess, how they were spending their marketing budget, allocating by channel spend, and what kind of reports they were getting and how they were tracking their leads. That whole thing was a total mess. So that actually then transitioned to, it's like, oh, Lyman, by the way, the company that powers our website just got acquired by another company. And so they're actually trying to upsell me to a bigger package. What do you think? And so then I started helping her evaluating the website. And then at first I'm like, oh my God, this website is so outdated. Just, like for example, one of the things she was trying to do is get more trade-ins. And so they were running search campaigns, Google AdWords campaigns, trying to drive people to their trade-in page. But the trade-in page was full of copy. The form was very low at the bottom. It wasn't mobile first. And I'm like, how are you ever going to get any trade-ins out of this? And so then I started helping her actually, evaluate website providers. So I started, looking at who else is out there. And after evaluating all the website providers, I'm like, oh my God, nobody's doing a good job at this. And so it's by pure accident, just by helping my friend. I would have never in a million years would have thought about becoming a website provider for car dealerships. Like that just wasn't even on my radar.
Well, and what's cool about your perspective is you don't have any of the sensitivities of someone like me, for example, who's been in the business essentially my whole life, to where I would say, well, I don't want to upset this website provider, or I don't want to upset this. It must feel really wonderful to be in a position where you're like, I don't even know the people that I could even get mad or make mad by talking about their websites, because candidly, for since automotive internet has been out, let's say 25 or so years, we have had websites. Dealers are selling cars online, and to some extent the OEMs are directing a lot of what happens on the website. And so there are some things that dealers would change or could if they had the fresh perspective. But to a large degree, and you guys are starting to come in terms with this, is the OEMs can be very heavy participants in the design, the layout, don't put used first, put new first, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But at the same time, what we see is a lot of dealers will say, well, I'm going to have the OEM required website, and then I'm going to have the website that I love and the one that really represents our business. And I would guess that early in your startup, as a company, you're not approved by any OEMs, but I would guess that they're paying attention to you. And my hope is that this conversation leads to that as well. So
I think
any
I really
thoughts on
appreciate it.
that? So why does it feel kind of liberating to be able to come into an industry and start fresh?
I'm personally a data nerd. I love data and I love sales and everything about marketing. Like marketing is my passion. I sleep, breathe, eat my marketing. My friends over the years have always asked me, if you could do anything else in the world, if you could change your career, what would it be? And I'm like, marketing. It is literally the best career in the world. And the reason why I love marketing so much is because I love having a bottom line impact on a business. It's not some wishy-washy, soft metrics. It's literally hardcore metrics. How many sales did we generate? What was the revenue? What was the average order or average profit per customer per deal, whatever it might be? Like, it's just, to me, I just get so excited. And so when we launch dealerships and I see their, lead volumes or their sales increase, triple, double. And last Friday or Thursday, he sends me an email. He's like, hey, let me just want to check out how you guys are doing. And he's like, I just want to say thank you for what you guys have done for my dealership. And that to me is the most rewarding thing, like knowing that a lot of dealerships, for them, this is their livelihood. And so to know that we could actually have that kind of an impact, it's the most rewarding experience. I sent a note to all of my developers, to all of our UX designers. I'm like, look at this, you guys.
Yeah,
So it's been a lot of fun.
That's really awesome. So why don't we go ahead and demonstrate the product if you'll share your screen, and we'll go ahead and get right to it, because I think this is what is my best interest. And understand you've got a luxury store that you'd like to demonstrate, and also a Honda store. And these both are going to be the desktop version, and then you'll demonstrate the mobile version as well.
Yes. And so the most important thing is mobile, because I'm sure most dealerships I've seen in their Google Analytics that majority of people that visit dealership websites visit on their mobile device. And actually is also, so when I say majority, I mean like at least 60% are coming from a mobile device. But then if you actually dive deeper and look at the website traffic by channels, like what percent of your traffic is from Facebook, what percent of your traffic is from Instagram or from Google Ads or Google SEO, organic traffic. And you'll see, like, for example, on Facebook, over 94% of website traffic is mobile. And Facebook is a publicly traded company, and they announce it every quarter that 94% of their daily active users are on mobile device. So dealerships are spending enormous amount of money, whether investing in organic social media or paid social media. But imagine if people are actually seeing your ads on a mobile device, they're clicking on your ads and coming to your website, but your website is not mobile first. And then everything falls flat, because then it's a horrible experience and consumers bounce. So what we've done is we're really, really focused on what is going to be like, what's the car shopping experience on a mobile device. Desktop, of course, is also really, really important, but that's like 40 to 30% of your traffic, maybe even 20% of your traffic. So this is an example of a Kain Honda dealership website on a desktop. And of course, it's pretty and it looks nice and everything, but that's table stakes. Like every website should look good on a desktop. Now, the most important is the mobile. So I'm going to change the view to a mobile screen. So this is a mobile. I'm going to refresh. So okay, so here's experience on mobile. It's still refreshing. And I'm working from home, so my Wi-Fi here is not the fastest. Okay, so here's an example of a mobile. So immediately, like you could actually still see the sliders, the promotions, the offers that OEMs care so much about. I mean, they're spending who knows how much money on TV advertising, running special promotions for lease, for financing. And then a lot of times what I see is when you go to some of the dealership websites, those marquees, those sliders, either you can't even see them because they completely disappear, or you could see them, but it's really, really, really hard to read because they're JPEGs and PNG files. So here's an example like what this dealership website looks like on mobile device. So everything is legible and you could read it. And it's also really focused on the millennials and Gen Zs who have a very, very short attention span, and they don't really read a lot of text. So in contrast, I just want to show you guys what I'm referring to. So here's another Honda dealership website. So this is what it looks like on a desktop, and it's already pretty busy. You know, it's kind of actually hard to see what's the primary call to action, what's the secondary call to action. There's a lot of content, there's a lot of information, but now I'm going to change it to mobile. And by the way, you see how they have these marquees, the homepage sliders. So this is what it, whoops, I'm going to go back. Accidentally clicked on the button. Let me go back. Okay, it's loading. Okay, so this is what it looks like on desktop. Now I'm going to change it to a mobile view. So refresh. Okay. Come on, load. Okay, so here's an example. So you could see those marquees, but look how immediately it's compressed. It's not as, you can't really see it as easily. And also one of the things that I've noticed that you see how here it has a Paragon Honda logo, but in here, again, it had another Honda logo. Where was it? That was just on. Oh, shoot. There it is. And then you hear, whoops, I'm going too fast. Here you have, again, another Honda logo. And you see how everything is just squished and looks like a lot of the content disappeared. Yeah, a lot of the content disappears. I think it's still loading. Partially could be my computer, my internet here is slow. But anyways, if you compare side by side, just the homepage, this website versus this website, as a consumer, like what would you rather see? You see how here you could actually read everything, and it's a headline, short paragraph, call to action, photos, just the way how it's laid out. Now let's go to the search results page. It's one of my favorite pages. So if we go to
pause for just a moment there, a couple of things that come to mind is I remember years ago I learned from Forrester Research that consumers would rather scroll than squint, and you know, particularly with the utilization of different type of mobile technology, the smartphones. Some, if you go to expand and you try to do that, it won't work, and it gets very frustrating. So I've gotten to where I'll take a screenshot and then I'll get into my photos and try to blow it up so I can read things. One thing that I really do appreciate is the fact that I don't have to squint as I work through your mobile site here.
Yeah, people don't like clicking. They don't like, pinching or things. It just has to work. It just has to be so flawless and so seamless, frictionless. And so that's how we really focused on designing this website. And so here's an example of a search results page. And, by the way, David, you mentioned earlier about my experience with real estate. So we actually almost mimicked the search results experience to Redfin, to Zillow. So if you go to any dealership website right now, so let's go to search vehicles. Okay, let me close this little pop-up. Come on, search. Oh, it's making me select. Okay, buy Paragon, Honda from home. Okay, let's go buy at our dealership. Where does it take me to? Okay, so here's an example of their search results page. So first, look how much space is taken up right here by information that's not relevant or useful. Versus if I go back here, see how everything is compartmentalized. Everything's like every pixel is accounted for because you want to make it easy for people to scroll through it. So you see how we have here click to call, click to drive. You have even the search bar, the menu, versus like in here, you don't have click to call. Oh, I guess you have it here at the bottom. I don't know why you would have it at the bottom because now you're using up more space because you're using up pixels here. You're using up pixels here at the bottom. Look how much space is taken up right here. Like the search bar should have been part of this top navigation, just like how it is in here. Like don't waste extra pixels. And then as you're scrolling down, so you see how you could see more than one car at a time. And here, I guess, what is it showing? 924. I don't even know what the 24 means. What does that mean? 117?
How many of that model they have available?
Oh, so I guess this is not even the full search results page. Okay, this is the full search results page. Well, no, because now it's still saying they have 4 of those. Okay, so this is a little bit confusing experience too. But anywho, so as you're scrolling through it, and I guess they don't have any photos. So this, okay, let's go to used inventory. Maybe this, I'm seeing this because it's new inventory. So okay, pre-owned, all used. Let's try all used. Buy at our dealership. Let's see what the experience is like here. Okay, here's another experience. So this is used inventory. So you see how you could only see one car at a time. You see the price, but you don't see a monthly payment, which I bet anything, because this is a Honda dealership, a lot of the clientele probably care about the monthly payment financing. So the fact that they're not even showing a monthly payment, they're missing out on opportunity to actually upsell and cross-sell consumer, because somebody who might have a $10,000 budget, but if you tell them, hey, but in terms of a monthly payment, you could actually afford a $15,000 car and only might be $30 more, it's actually an easy way to upsell a customer. So in contrast, so you see how here we're showing $49,000 car, here's a monthly payment, and you could also actually swipe to see more than one photo without having to click to go to the vehicle detail page. So the whole point of a search results page is to intrigue. The whole point of a vehicle detail page is to educate and close, ask for the sale. And so what I see a lot of times is that, and this is a dealership actually doing a better job, because normally I would see like 5 buttons on the search results page. So at least this dealership doesn't have 5 buttons. But the fact to say view details, what's the point of saying view details? You're using up the space. It's intuitive. You should know to be able to click on it. You don't need to say view details. So, and you see how you can only see one car at a time. You can't swipe to see more than one photo. So now let's go to the vehicle detail page. Okay, it's loading. Come on. Okay, while it's loading, let's go to our vehicle detail page. Okay, it's loading. Okay, so here's our vehicle detail page. So again, of course, you could actually, scroll and see more photos. Here, it's very compartmentalized and clean. So in terms of a behavioral science, I always like to think about what's the sequence of thought, how people make decisions. So when somebody comes to a dealership website, what they want to know is, do I want this car? The next question is, can I afford this car? Next question is, how do I buy this car? So in terms of the sequence of thought, that's exactly how we actually develop this vehicle detail page. So as an example, do I want this car? Well, I'm looking through the photos. Okay, yeah, this looks good. Interior color, the condition, the mileage, all the information I need to know about the car. The next question is, well, can I afford this car? Well, it's $49,000, but in terms of a monthly payment, it's $667 per month based on these finance terms, which, by the way, you click and customize. By the way, I also save by trading in. Versus if I go to this dealership website, so where's the photo? Oh, the photo is actually all the way at the bottom. So in terms of if I want this car, the photo is the star. The photo should have been above the fold, not below the fold, because immediately you land here and all you see is a bunch of text. And then it says, buy a new Honda today, make no payments for 90 days. Okay, so they have a little promotion there. Sounds good. Okay, so you see how even like, here's photos, everything, the way how it's broken out, it's not very compartmentalized. It's not very like maximizing every pixel and things like that. And so, and I see that they're using stock photos, they're using videos, and I could show you another example how we've done this as well. By the way, the Carfax report, so let me show you something. This is one of my favorite features for used cars. So if you go to use inventory, so let's look at this car as an example. Okay, load. Okay, here you go. So we're one of the very few companies, by the way, let me change this to 100 view, because right now it's showing it at 91%. Okay, refresh. Okay, refresh. Okay, so it's refreshed. Okay, so you see how we have a Carfax, and here we're saying vehicle history report, normally $39, but you could get it for free. And when you click on it, whoops, it's refreshing again. Okay, let me click on it, and actually tells you get a free vehicle history report. Complete this form, you'll receive a free Carfax history report, normally valued at $39. So we're actually one of the very few companies who actually gated this, but most importantly, we're also communicating the value of this report. Dealerships are spending about $500 to $700 per month for Carfax history report, and nobody is actually taking advantage of the value it's delivering, which is the leads. And so our dealerships are actually generating a lot of leads from just by doing this. So versus here's an example, all they're doing is showing a Carfax, but they're not communicating the value. Hey, this report actually costs $39. And by the way, providing information to get all the details. Okay, now in here. So you see how they have the Paragon price, just even like how the font size, like there's no reason why Paragon price should be rolled out into 2 different lines. It should have been like, all in one line. So this is clearly, this website was built to be mobile responsive instead of mobile first. Yeah. So as an example, let me show you guys something. We're about to launch a Nissan store. And I want to show you guys what we've done for them because it's also showing those little calculations there. But look at this. So you'll see an example. So right here. So I'm going to show you guys the mobile version of this Nissan store. So, okay, scrolling
Kind of
down.
fun for us to be in your development phase.
I know you guys are getting sneak preview. Okay, so here's the Stephen Wade Nissan. They're going live on end of this month. So when you click on this little expand box and look how it says MSRP, accessories, oops, they should have sent the Nissan rebate, our discount price. You see how everything fits into one line. It was designed, to format to look good on a mobile device versus like when I'm on here, it's, to me, maybe I'm just OCD, but it's annoying that the fact that Paragon price has to go into different line and the $8,000 is bigger font size than this. Then again, here it says your price. Well, I already see my price here. Why am I seeing my price here again? So just like the whole user experience, a lot of times we take that we don't take and give it enough credit. But the reason why Amazon is so successful is because they obsess over user experience and they obsess over the user experience on mobile device.
So in your situation, let's go to your website and the Kain Honda and go through the forms and what's different. I love this idea for the Carfax, but something you shared with me the other day showed the opportunity for the consumer to actually do a one-way video if they wanted to. And I thought that was cool. There are some unique features that come with yours that I've not seen on other websites. And in your perspective, the layout, I think the look of this, the website looks like a work of art, and the cars really are the stars, and I think that's really awesome. So if you could just take us through the rationale for the calls to action, the coloring, some of the variables that you have spent a lot of time thinking about.
Yeah, so it's going back to the behavioral science and the sequence of thought. So the way we designed this, especially with digital retailing, you know how right now the biggest buzzword is digital retailing. It's like the new buzzword of AI. When AI first came around, everybody keeps talking about AI. Same thing with digital retailing. And I always say, there's a lot of really great companies who do a really great job with digital retailing. Carnell is actually one of my favorite tools. But it doesn't matter how great of the digital retailing tools you have if the user experience is so clunky where people can actually get through it. So here's an example of Fisher's Imports. They have Carnell Digital Retailing Company. So when you come here, this is a desktop, and I could show you guys the mobile version as well. So here, first sequence of thought, do I want this car? You see a beautiful car, you see the window sticker, you see the Carfax report, all the information. The next thing is, okay, well, can I afford this car? So here's the price of the car, here's the monthly payment estimate. Now, here's the buttons. So we've made a very conscious decision about what's the primary call to action, what's the secondary call to action, and everything else is tertiary. So if you go to any of the big, huge e-commerce stores like Best Buys or Amazon's or Home and Depot, you will never see multiple buttons with the exact same color. Usually there's one brightest color, which is the primary call to action. Then there might be a secondary button that's just like more of a, kind of a neutral color. And then everything else is a hyperlink. But a lot of times when I go to the dealership websites, they'll have 5 different buttons and they're all the same color. Or maybe the worst thing is that they might have green, yellow, blue, orange. Like, am I looking at a box of crayons or what's going on in here? And so, and also, with digital retailing, when you think about the way I think about how people make purchasing decisions is you need to anticipate what are the sales objections they're going to have, and you need to be able to ready to overcome those sales objections. So one of them is if you want to sell cars online, the first question will come to mind, well, how am I going to get this car once I buy it online? So what are my options of actually getting delivered? And so here we have, get shipping quote. And this is actually, we integrate with Ship Your Car Now, which gives them 100% accurate guaranteed shipping estimate. Of course, some dealerships offer free shipping up to X number of miles. So this dealership offers free shipping up to 250 miles. But then after 250 miles, you could actually go through it and get a real guaranteed quote, just as if you were shopping on Amazon. Mm-hmm. And then here, you have, okay, well, you could also, go for a test drive, buy it at the store. And this is where we have schedule a test drive, or you could actually start a one-way video call. So if you click on schedule a test drive, it's actually a scheduling tool. And one of the coolest things about our scheduling tool, as you could see here, it says schedule a test drive, next available today at 11:30. So it knows what time it is right now. It knows what time the dealership opens and closes, and it shows the next 30 minutes increment of available time to create urgency, to get consumers to walk into the store. So a lot of the things we've done part of this website is to create urgency. Like, hey, there's, this many people looked at this car. The next available appointment is at 11:30. So it's those little elements of creating a little bit of, it's like, you better, hurry up. Or even like this, get shipping quote. It says, complete your purchase in the next 13 hours, 21 minutes, 15 seconds to get it delivered as early as Thursday, January 25th. So it's just like shopping on Amazon Prime. And it says, place your Prime order in the next 5 hours, 40 minutes, whatever it might be. And you might get it by this date. So same type of a concept. And so then here, like, for example, let's say if I'm putting in, the dealership is going to hate me right now because I'm sending them a fake lead, but I'm going to let them know it's me so they're not pissed at me. Okay, test.com. Going to put a fake number. Okay, so 98004 is my zip code. So by the way, in order for this dealership, ship your car now to provide an accurate quote, all they need to know is the car that's being shipped and the zip code where it's being shipped to and where it's being shipped from. Since we power the dealership website, we know what car they're looking at. So we pre-populate all that information so consumer doesn't have to spend the time filling that out. And we're also pre-populating where the car is being shipped from so consumer doesn't have to fill that out. The only thing they need to provide is their first name, last name, email, and phone number, which is really for lead gen purposes for dealership. And really to provide a quote, all we need is a zip code. So when you click next, and then here, it says, okay, Lyman, here are your shipping options. Standard shipping is going to cost this much. Estimated delivery by June 28, including 2 days for title transfer. Fisher's Imports credit. So Fisher's Imports gives you a credit if it's over 250 miles. Dealerships don't have to do it, but they could if they want to. And then in here it says express shipping, $729. You could actually say, hey, I want to get it delivered faster, just like you would with Amazon or shopping in Macy's or Nordstrom's. How you could do faster shipping. You could also do enclosed container. Well, I'm about to buy a Porsche for $300,000. I might as well do an enclosed container. So like imagine where you could actually check out like as if you're buying something on Amazon, add options to it. And then here again, it has next best call to action. It says your total shipping cost is $1,258. And also this is supposed to actually calculate estimated payment. Looks like something happened here, but it would have said, or you could include it in your financing for, let's say, $50 more per month. So it's, again, giving them options to finance it, or it's overcoming all the obstacles, all the barriers to get somebody to want to buy. And then it says, okay, now place your shipping order or buy this car to contact the dealership or get car financing. So one of the other things we've done with our website is this thing I call the next best action. No matter where you are on the side, anytime you've completed one action, it tells you here's the most next relevant action to take. So it's not just putting a bunch of buttons all over the place, but it's thinking through the behavior, the customer journey, the sequence of thoughts, and everything else.
So that's really awesome. Would you do me a favor for the fun of it? And I don't know whether there's staff for this today. Let's do the video call and see if they have anybody. So we'll kind of, obviously this is live, so you just never really know what you're going to run into. So
I know. Hopefully the answer. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to click this. So it's supposed to, so by the way, for our video call, we power at the Lyamen side. Oh, it says I can't find camera on my computer. I think it's because I'm using Zoom, so you can't.
That's it. Okay. Well, good. So, obviously we don't want to encourage people to mess with it. So, all right, good. So just what we experience in a lot of cases. So websites can be great, but sometimes the processes, and that's what we do. Obviously, we teach the process to support a great website. And so this would go hand in glove with what we do. Lyman, this is really amazing. And I like the strength with which you've designed this. I like the psychological rationale, as opposed to, let's just throw something together that's maybe looks a little better than what you've seen in the industry. You've really broken it down from the user's experience and concentrating on that mobile first environment, but definitely providing a remarkable desktop version so that the consumers and the dealers feel particularly good about it. So what I'd like to do is let's cover what you recommend if somebody is interested in learning more about your websites. What are the next steps? Because we're going to provide your contact information in the video, but who would they talk to? What team member is going to be their focus? Do you have this big construct of people they've got to run through? It sounds as though you know your clients, and that's one of the other advantages of working with your company. So tell us a little bit about what the next steps would be if somebody was interested.
Yeah, if anybody's interested, there, of course, please visit the 321ignition.com. And we have our phone number published in there. Also, of course, you could fill out a request a form for somebody to contact you, or you could even email me directly, Lyman at 321ignition.com, and I'll put you in contact with one of our sales associates. Part of onboarding process, we actually try to do everything for the dealership. We call it a hands-off onboarding process where dealerships don't have to lift a finger. The only thing they need to do once they've actually signed up with us is we do a one-time onboarding call with them where we collect all the information, okay, what CRM do you use? What inventory system you use? Do we need to integrate with? Like, what OEM incentives and things like that do you need us to include? Tell me more about your dealership, what makes your dealership unique. Like, for example, with Fisher's Imports, they actually had one of my favorite dealerships. They have amazing story. They do amazing things. But before they switched to us, I would have never known all the things that they've done because on their website, they never messaged, they never talked about it. So part of our onboarding process is we interview the owners or the GMs and learn more about, tell me more about what makes your dealership unique. What services you offer and things like that. And then part of that, the next step is we do their Google Analytics audit to understand all the different pages they have that's generated traffic, which pages are not generating traffic, what's their bounce rates and things like that. Then we actually go into, based on that audit, we then come up with a plan. Okay, here's what we're going to be transferring. Here's what we're going to be redesigning and building. Then our copywriter starts writing copy, and our copywriters are amazing. They're not just SEO people who just keyword stuff, but they're actually direct response copywriters who really understand behavioral science, who really understand how do we write copy that's short, that is direct, but benefits driven. So it's both satisfying Google, to rank organically, but then making sure when people visit your website, they don't bounce, and make sure they understand what's your unique value proposition. Then once the copy is finalized, we go into design. Our UX UI designers come up with prototypes, the branding, the colors, and things like that. Like, for example, Fisher's Imports, their logo is actually supposed to be bright red. I'm like, oh my God, people are going to go blind on the website. How about, we modify your logo a little bit? And they loved what we did with their logo. And so then we actually, once they've approved everything in prototypes, then we go into development. And again, we do all the work, even QAing things. Like when I was helping my friend, and they were sending her things to QA. I'm like, why are you spending your time QAing? They should be spending their time QAing. That's part of, being a website provider. So we actually QA everything. We test, making sure the leads are going to their CRM and make sure that their inventory is passing correctly, the incentives, that everything's connected correctly. We do everything for them, including even, making sure their Google Analytics is set up correctly, their goal tracking is set up correctly. And then basically at the end, we're like, okay, here's your site and staging. Give us a final blessing to go live, and we turn on and we just send over the keys to them. So everything is for the dealerships.
Well, this has really been fun, at least from a conversational standpoint. If you'll unshare your screen now, just want to kind of wrap up and say, I've been in the auto industry, let's just say I started as a kid, but officially in 1982. It's so fun to see companies like yours get out there and be brave, be inventive, and kind of stir things up. I don't think you're trying to be a giant slayer, if you will, but from the standpoint of trying to be intentional with respect to the approach that you do with your clients, I think you've really got something powerful going on here, and I definitely will champion your cause and encourage a lot of our clients to take a look at this. So, Lyman, thank you very much for joining me today, and I know we'll have many more conversations in the future.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Bye-bye now.
Bye, guys.